Hey guys, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me again today. Going to give you a really good tip this morning because it popped into my head because I am like developing a recipe again today. I don't think it needs a little bit more work, so I won't be doing the video for that today. So it got me thinking in another train of thought. And I think this is a good one in general. This is a good raw vegan tip in general. And it could be like, I'm thinking some good practical applications with winter coming up. You know, just thinking of some things you can do to make dinner more hearty. You know, because I think a lot of times it's not so, I don't know, I can only think through my experience, but it's not so much, even when I'm somewhere that's colder, it's not so much the heat of the food as it is textures and stuff and just being really, really hearty. I guess what I'm getting at is I find that even when I'm in the States and I'm deciding between if I'm going to do a potato or something or stay raw if it's chilly, I find that the heartier dish I prepare makes it easier to eat raw. So just something else to think about. But what I'm getting at here is I sometimes have to think outside of my way of thinking because I do things very simply and I don't necessarily, I can go on very, very simple, I can go on unprepared, I'm kind of at that place where I'm not going to go off the rails and do something crazy just because I'm not prepared or I'm not, you know, making the most tasty dishes in the world, or the tastiest dishes in the world. But I enjoy that, and you know, when I did that video, the taco video, it kind of got me started on a kick of like, even though I can go really simple, you know, what happens with me, like I think the first night of this week, I had a late yoga class, didn't feel like doing anything, and I'll just make a green smoothie for dinner. So, you know, I work with it. As long as there's some food around the house, I can always make do. But some people are not quite as solid in their lifestyles yet, and you need a few tips and tricks, and you need to have some tasty recipes in your repertoire of recipes. So that would be my number one tip for the week, is to, you know, I go back and forth, you know, there's times where I don't watch recipe videos of anybody's for a long period of time just because, I don't know, it's just not interested at the time, and then I kind of start watching recipe videos again, and usually I don't make anybody's recipes like straight, like say, ooh, that's a good recipe, write it down and make it. I get ideas, you know, I take little bits and pieces, or I might even just get one small element out of somebody's recipe and decide, oh, I could use that ingredient and do this with it. But it's fun, it gives you something to do, and the more recipe videos you watch, the more recipes you read, even like following Instagram and stuff, I find that stuff helpful in a general sense for teaching me how to put things together. You know, like I'll use as the example many times, like, and I should write it down so I can actually say it correctly, is like Tanny Raw has her little formula for her salad dressings. You know, where it's something savory, something sweet, something salty, blah, blah, blah. It's like 4 or 5 things. See, those things are brilliant. And as something like that, see, that's kind of the concept that has slowly been getting into my head. It's like I can extrapolate from this. It's like, okay, well now, I add this to stuff and it thickens it, or I add this and this mixes well with this. And it's just like Lego. You just start building your knowledge. You start building your kitchen knowledge and you start learning, like, this goes with this. Oh, and this really tastes good with this. This, you know, just one little, even just one little ingredient. Like, and I won't go into a whole, like, thank you for this because that's for the next video, but smoked paprika. I've just started using smoked paprika, and that's a game changer. I've actually reinvented, I feel like I'm eating different dishes, just going back through a good number of my recipes and adding smoked paprika in there. But especially if you're not super solid in this lifestyle, this can be very important, keeping it fresh and having plenty of recipes, because, you know, your taste buds have probably not changed to that point yet, that they will as you go longer and longer on this lifestyle and you eat cleaner and your palate gets cleaned out. You'll find your taste becoming simpler and simpler. In the meantime, the more tasty recipes you have in your arsenal, the better. The less likely you are to fall off your program, the less likely you are just to grab something out of desperation. You know, once you start learning, and you can learn like things that you like and little things to keep around the house all the time. One of the biggest things you can do for yourself is just kind of almost have like, it's almost like a little emergency plan. I don't know if you're going to necessarily call it that, but just having certain things around the house and never letting certain staples get too low, that if, no matter what happens, boom, 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 you know, circumstances happen, things happen, you've always got something nearby that you can make a healthy dinner with, or just have healthy breakfast, dinner, lunch, whatever. I focus a little bit more on dinner when I'm talking about things, because the day's just cruising through the day. The day's just fruit and green smoothies and greens, and it's just very light. You know, it's juices and fruits. I very seldom, every once in a while I get a hankering to reverse it and have my dinner during the day, sometimes on the weekends, but mostly it's just the dinner at night. And I've even found for me lately, it's not like I'm getting bored, it's just like I'm getting creative again. I've actually been, you know, sometimes I'm even laying in bed at night just before I go to sleep, and I start kind of putting together a recipe in my head. So we'll cut it off there. I've made my point. No need to ramble anymore. I'm trying to cut down on my rambling, but yeah, that's a big key right there. And I'm working on a recipe today. I quite possibly will shoot the video after I get back from yoga this afternoon, or I'll do it again in the morning, and then I'll give some props to who I want to give props to. But yeah, start watching some, you know, just start learning how to create your own raw vegan food. Be your own raw vegan guru. Be your own raw vegan chef. Don't look to other people all the time. Now, it doesn't mean you can't get a few tips here and there. Like, I've got a nice little network behind the scenes of some really cool people that help me a lot, and I really appreciate it. And I will mention some of that. I do from time to time. I always, you know, give props to Tanny Raw. I learned a ton from her, information and recipes. And when I do this next recipe video, I will give props to another person that I take crazy amounts of information on her recipes videos. But anyhow, hope you guys like this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and you know, hey, in the comments below, share some other really big crucial tips you think you found for staying raw vegan. It's always about sharing. It's not so much about coming up with the greatest video. I try to, when I'm thinking about videos, even if it's something small, just little things we can all do every day, little tricks, every little things in day-to-day life that we can share to help us on this path, because that's what this is really about. It's not about big numbers or lots of followers and all that kind of stuff, but just sharing the message. Anyhow, hope you guys are having a wonderful week. I am. Peace.